Those given industries and events in the list were all taken on site in remote ways before the pandemic. At first, all these industries had to go through a tough time because they had to close due to the quarantine and lockdowns. The financial was tremendous, and they were gradually getting used to working remotely, telecommunicating with people, and getting used to the new ways. These ways were not just temporary adjustments, but have brought significant changes in the industries that will stay even after the pandemic. For example, as people were discouraged or even prohibited in some to meet face to face, kiosk services were put as replacements. This system existed even before the pandemic for people to provide themselves self service to avoid high traffic in the business flow, but its usage became even more significant in hotels, restaurants, and in other hospitality fields due to COVID 19. In addition, even entertainments and amusements were happening remotely. The Zoom meeting, in my case, is an epitome of this. Peers started to hang out and meet often through this site, wherein they can turn on cameras and share screens to each other. I also have an experience drinking with my friends at our own house, seeing each other through cameras. Due to these kiosk and remote systems, many people had to lose their jobs. In fact, the WTTC, World Travel and Tourism Council, stated that COVID 19 has led to more than 50 million job losses. Not only these entertainments, but also classes and even business meetings were being held in Zoom meetings. Of course, these online meetings existed even before the pandemic, but it has become the norm. From what I have learned through my skin over the past years, I strongly agree that we should adapt and continue to keep these kinds of alternative modes of business, work, and hospitality. It is because we never know what will happen in the future. We cannot assure that something like this pandemic will not come even tomorrow or after a year. Furthermore, people have adjusted to the new norm, especially the young generations, and it is going to cost a lot financially and timely to bring things back to the way it used to be. Lastly, I would also like to talk about the impact of COVID 19 on human rights. COVID 19 has surpassed what a regional war would cause in terms of suffering and destruction. Globally, more than 1.2 million people have died. At the same time, 150 million people globally have been knocked into extreme poverty, living on less than $1.9 a day. Sadly to say, this has affected people to have rights listed in the Bill of Rights. In addition, it has also affected the discipline and system globally. There were people who took advantage out of this situation to cause crimes, and some were left with no option to do so as they were faced with severe poverty. This affected the rights of the victims and overall brought the world into chaos. Thank you for listening.